Hello and welcome to Jessie Bear Book Club. Today we are getting back to our Wild Cards Super Kick by reviewing 29 Joker Moon. We have heard quite a bit about the moon in the last two books, so I am excited to see what it is all about. As I know I have missed a bit by skipping ahead, but don't blame me for that, blame Audible and my ever-expanding bookshelf of books I need to read. The book starts in 1948 with young Arty, who is an Indian student studying astronomy at Oxford. She gets a wildcard virus and becomes a Joker, with the power to visit the moon by night and build anything she wants. As the space race continues, Arty becomes extremely possessive of the moon and vows to keep it safe from intruders no matter what it takes. While during the day she is an outcast living alone in her big house in Bombay with only her servants for company, oozing cratered skin all over her body. The next chapter is all about Yuri, aka Flatman, a Russian cosmonaut who during a space mission is exposed to radiation and becomes a sort of hologram on the space station that doesn't want the Earth to know about him. It shows you a little about how the wildcards, or star gifts as they are called in Russia, are used in the USSR. My favourite part of this chapter was hearing about Yuri fighting the swarm. Then we meet Mathilde, an 11-year-old girl who is red and quite elf-like, newly moved over from France to live with her father. Her only friend is her father's employer's son, Theodorus Witherspoon, and they both love to play space travel. But then Theodorus is struck with the wild card and becomes a giant snail. I got serious bloat flashbacks here. Similar name, similar age, similar Joker repulsiveness and size, and slime that smells, and similar intelligence and kind heart. The real difference between the two is their parents' financial situation and how well their caregivers coped or didn't. Theodorus is homeschooled after his card turns, and we get a moment of Dr. Tachyon when he is persuaded to cheer up Theodorus by giving him a spin-in baby. This shows how well connected in Washington the Witherspoons are, and that they had a hand in getting baby back for Dr. Tachyon. More Tachyon, please. Into the Theodorus situation enters Cash Mitchell, Theodorus's new tutor, an ace with the power to lift things into orbit, one of only 3 people to visit the moon. He now runs a carnival show with his old rocket because the mission was so top secret that few people believe him it was real. I don't find Cash himself very interesting. However, I did find his ex-wife, Evelyn, fascinating. Evelyn has escaped polygamy, and I really liked the idea of the FLDS still operating within the wildcards world and how they view aces and jokers. They go to the moon again with the help of the Witherspoons, and Evelyn dies on the trip, converting into a joker and being the first joker to be buried on the moon, which was witnessed by Arty. What follows are multiple chapters on the race to colonize the moon. One chapter is about Arty killing Russian cosmonauts, and another is about Mathilde building half rocket, half planes so people can fly to the moon easily. For me, the best bit of these chapters was getting to see Green Man and Father Squid at the Council of Jokers, where Theodorus explains his plan to colonize the moon for wildcards and create them a homeworld. He is laughed out of the room, of course. I was so happy the next few chapters were from the POV of Dr. Bradley Finn. I am a huge fan of Finn, and I was happy to see that he and his wife are still together. Finn gets roped into finding out what Theodorus is up to by his wife's cousin, the now President of the United States of America. A Van Rensselaer president with, oh my god, Duncan Towers as vice president. I loved it. It was a really good take on today's political situation in America, though I thought Bradley was a little bit too PC and it was slipped into his inner monologue almost continuously. Finn is very against the moon project, which surprised me because I thought he would be up for it, but he does help to organise a meeting between Theodorus and the President. Right before the meeting, however, the President is assassinated. I did not see that coming, and it was a very pleasant shock. Again, this is why I love Wildcards books so much. They continue to surprise me continually. After the assassination, there is a chapter from the POV of Ice Blue Sybil and Jonathan Hive. They uncover an inner government plot to assassinate the president and get Finn and Theodorus somewhat off the hook for the crime. It was a good chapter, and it made me want to read the American Hero books a lot. When are they coming out on Audible, guys? I gotta sneak this in on my lunch hour. Well, half an hour. The next part of the book was hard for me to follow. There was a lot of talk about the living gods and American Hero and POVs from Bubbles, but I got the gist of it, even though I find Bubbles quite dull. The Jokers have a homeland in Egypt, but they are under threat, so they decide to leave for the moon. Meanwhile, the moon colony is growing, and we finally get to see Arty again, who is growing old and lonely. While all this is going on, Theodorus and Mathilde and their crew are half on the run, half on a grand tour, and eventually go back to the House Secure, where they are attacked by Scare and the US government. It was a good fight. I enjoyed watching Mathilde use her power, and I was very sad when Malachi dies and Mathilde calls him father for the first and only time. I was surprised, however, Mathilde did not go to the moon. I thought she would continue to be Theodorus's right hand. During the interim, Arty has become more tolerant of the Joker colonies on the moon and likes to follow their lives. She even helps them attain more living space, constructing a deal with Charles Dutton. She wants to do something good in her last years to help her fellow Jokers and make up for the deaths that she has caused. The book ends with ice asteroids hitting the moon, so the Jokers can finally start terraforming their new planet. This is all from the POV of Charles Dutton, and I shed a tear when he was reminiscing about all his friends who didn't make it. A really good ending to an above average book. 7 out of 10. I definitely liked Arty's chapters best of all. This is the end of this book review. I hoped you enjoyed it. Make sure and subscribe so you don't miss my other Wildcards book reviews, and check out the playlist where I compare Wildcards characters and A Song of Ice and Fire characters. You can also follow me on Instagram at Lady Jessica Riddell. Until next time, I hope your card doesn't turn.